Transition Awareness Breathing. Feeling grounded for both children and parents is essential for healthy living and learning. Join Eartha Powell on this series for tips and tools for creating a harmonious environment for learning. Transition Awareness Breathing will help you and your child find an individualized path to tackle change, promote lifelong learning, and discover new approaches to calmness.
Well, today I thought I would bring something different to our Transition Awareness Breathing podcast session today. And one thing about mindfulness is the appreciation of the now. And I think it's important for us to realize that in the now, that we're not by ourselves. So being aware of our environment and being aware of how we affect our environment. We can do that in a positive way, and we can affect our environment where we leave so many footprints that it affects creatures and nature around us. I would like to explore with you a way to appreciate the now and leave a positive footprint for creatures around us. Thank you for joining me today in Transition Awareness Breathing podcast video. Let's get started. So these are the things that we're going to use today. Some bird seed. And as you can notice, these bags are kind of like half empty. Well, I had a situation during the beginning of the pandemic. Our wash machine broke and we had a flood. And lo and behold, when I was cleaning out the laundry room, I came across this bird seed. So I figured, hey, what am I going to do with bird seed? But I found an idea we can use. So we're going to need some bird seed. And this, you might recognize, is a toilet paper roll, or you can use any kind of a paper towel roll, but this is a toilet paper roll. This is a little planter. It's one of those kind of planters that, you put your seeds in, and then you can put the whole thing in the ground, and then it, disintegrates along with the soil. But we're going to use this for something different. So that, and these are just options. You don't need all of this. I'm just showing you some options. And in this little paper towel here is, yes, lo and behold, is a half-eaten ice cream cone. When my son wanted ice cream, and like a lot of children, they get finished with the ice cream and look what's left. So, instead of tossing it, I thought maybe we could use it for this project today. And here, I have it covered up here, is some almond butter. Okay, and that's what we're going to use. Oh, and some string. And that's what we're going to use for our mindfulness project today. So spring and summer is coming quick. And one of the things that's so wonderful about being outside and being in the garden is, for me, is listening to the birds. As I said before, my first video, it's music to me. And it seems like, they don't hang around much, for whatever reason. And so, we have this lovely tree out here. We have a lot of trees. And I wanted to invite them and make the yard more inviting to them. So I figured maybe if we made some little seed planters, they would come and eat some of the seeds, sing some music, and get a snack along the way. In the meantime, it adds really beauty to the environment out here. You know, there are beautiful colors and the different types of birds. Also, I know that the little squirrels are going to be out here. That's what usually happens. Squirrels come. That's okay. It's all part of nature. It's appreciating. It's appreciating the natural environment. And so I'm using these different things, and the reason why I want to tell you the difference is I've made this project before with the toilet paper roll and a paper towel roll, and what happened, it worked great. The birds ate all the seeds off the roll, but the roll was left. So, you know, it really didn't beautify the environment, because I was left with this. Of course, I could plant it in the garden and then it could turn to mulch. This, I'm going to try something new. You know, the birds can eat it, and then we'll see how it goes, you know, because it'll rain. And so we'll be doing a little experiment and see if this works a little bit better than this. This is also an experiment I want to try to use. You know, I started to throw this away, this half-eaten ice cream cone. But then I thought, you know, that's such a waste. How about recycling it? And so I think part of mindfulness is being aware of our usage of things that we use every day, and adding to the beauty of our environment. So I'm going to make this into a little feeder for some of the birds. I've used peanut butter before, and I really like peanut butter, but today, you know, I recognize and I'm aware that, you know, especially if you're doing this with children, sometimes people have peanut butter allergies. So I wanted to use an alternative paste kind of deal, so that, you know, if you're working with someone that has a peanut allergy, you know, you could use something different. This is almond butter. It smells really good. So I'm going to use my mindfulness skills, my awareness skills, as I put together this craft to help leave a positive footprint in our environment. It smells good. Okay, we have our equipment. We have our paste, a roll, little planter cup, and a half-eaten ice cream cone. So what I'm going to do, the first thing is I punched a hole right here on one side of the planter cup, so I'm gonna use my scissors and punch a hole on the other side. And you know, I recommend, you know, grown-up do this. Sometimes the children, you know, get a little bit too ambitious, and we don't want anybody to hurt themselves. So if you're setting this up as a craft for your children, you might want to do this beforehand. Just to punch a, you know, a hole. Doesn't have to be fancy. On two sides of your planter. And I'm going to do the same thing for the paper, the toilet paper roll. And, you know, just trying to twist it carefully. There. You know, you could get a hole puncher or screwdriver or something, but you definitely want to have a grown-up doing this, okay? So that was easy. And this, I think I'm going to cut the tip of this one off of the ice cream cone, because what I'm looking at is making a way so I can hang these from the tree So I want to put a hole in the bottom of that. Then I'm going to take my string, just some twine, and I'm going to feed it through holes on each side. This is the paper, the roll for toilet paper. I'm just going to cut that. Then it's going to tie a knot. This is not fancy. I am not like a really crafty person, but you know the function. I'm like a function person. I need something to hang it. So I think this would be great. You know, you don't have to put a lot of holes in there. Okay, so I put this one aside, and I'll do the same thing for here. And as I'm doing this, I hear the birds singing in the background, and it's so wonderful. I don't know if they're excited because they know they're gonna have a treat. It's so cool. I have some string around my nose. So I am moving that away. Okay, there's another one. Okay, then I'll put that one aside, and then finally I'm gonna put the string through the ice cream cone. Let's see if I have this hole big enough. I might need a little bit of help. Okay, that's, I think. So once I get this in, then we're going to make the hole a little bit larger. Okay. And I'm listening and to all the beautiful sounds. I'm out here in the yard, like it's just really appreciating all the wonderful smells. Okay, so now I have that taken care of. I'm going to put that aside. These little crumbs that came off the ice cream cone, I'm going to use those so nothing goes to waste. Next, I'm underneath a tree house. If you're wondering, where is she? I'm underneath, I'm in the tree house. So the birds like to come here and they visit a lot, especially in the morning. So I figure, wait, what a great place to do this craft. So I'm gonna take some seed, bird seed. I'm just gonna sprinkle it down. You might want to use a paper plate or something, but I figure since I'm in the tree house, if there's any seeds left, then they will come, you know, that would be inviting for them. That's my rationale. We'll see if it works. And this is a mixture of seeds. So this is some wild bird seed. That, you know, I just want to use the seed. I don't want to waste the seeds. And there we go. So it has a mixture. Just there. And I'm looking at the colors of these seeds, the different colors and the textures. Let me bring you close and so that you can see as well. So look at all the different colors, different textures, different shapes and sizes. You know, I invite you to, you know, before we continue the craft, is to really take time and check out the textures. Let it go through your hands. There's round ones, yellow ones, and this is something that, you know, if you're doing this with children, you know, we can sit and compare, see how many people can find different shapes and colors of seeds. Children are great. They always like to look for differences, right? And that's so cool. So take a moment and, you know, use some of your mindfulness skills, your awareness skills, and explore the different textures. You know, you can put your hands down in it. And, you know, one thing about dealing with the seeds, it's not messy, but we're going to get to the messy part next. Okay, so now, as I said, we're going to get to the messy part now. But, you know, maybe it's not messy. Maybe messy is not the most mindfulness word. We're going to get to the part where we're going to have a chance to add a different texture. And that is the almond butter. So I'm going to take the almond butter and I'm going to spread it on the cone. I'm going to use my fingers. And so you may want to have some paper towels on the side, close by, or some water or something to rinse your hands off once you finish with the project. You know, you don't think about these things until after you're finished sometimes. Okay. Then you can see the ice cream cone all covered with the almond butter. Now I'm going to just roll the ice cream cone into the seeds. I'm going to put some over here like that. I hear one of the birds over there. Hi. Okay. And so when they nibble at this, the whole ice cream cone is going to be edible for them. I'm going to put a little bit of almond paste on the inside because I want to put some seeds on the inside too. There we go. And you know, if the seeds kind of get a little bit thin in one spot, you just roll the cone and cover up the bare spots. There we are. Okay, that's number one. I'm going to hang it on the tree, maybe right here. Okay, and we'll start on the next one. Oh, remember that little piece of ice cream cone that I cut off? I'm gonna put a little almond butter on it. I'm gonna stick it inside. There we go. See, this is really easy. Okay, so now I'm gonna do the same thing to the planter, spreading almond butter all around. And like I said, I'm using almond butter because for people who have peanut butter allergies, this is a safe alternative. But if you don't have any issues, or your children do not have any issues with peanut butter, then you certainly can use peanut butter. So all that on the bottom. And I can just hear my students, Miss Arthur, do we do the inside? Sure. Excuse me. Let's put some on the inside. And then I'm going to just kind of cover the planter, the seeds. And that's why I'm glad I put the holes in the planter first. When I did this project before, I tried to put the holes in after I put the seeds on. It was that was a little bit messy, but it was okay. But I wanted to do something a little bit different this time, see how it works. So I'm putting some seeds on the inside. And you can add as much as you would like. Okay, so there we have planter. I'm going to put that aside. Finally, we're going to do the roll. And maybe, if we look at this with a curious type of approach, we can kind of compare and see which planter, which birdseed feeder do the birds like the most. We can kind of check a little bit periodically outside and look for those birds coming to the tree, wherever the planter was. That's fun. And you'll watch the birds, how they come, and they're kind of explore first. And I think that's how we should kind of explore things, discover our environment, discover ways we can leave a positive imprint, positive footprint, being careful and exploring and using just what we need. We don't have to use our resources or we're using everything up. And I think that's part of mindfulness as well, being mindful of how we are using our resources in our environment. Okay, now, there we go. So I'm going to finish rolling this, adding some more seeds. Then when I come back, we're going to hang them up and look at the final product. So here's the finished product. This is our bird feeders. They're different shapes. And we used material that's certainly recyclable. I encourage you to not to use like plastics and things like that, but things that can go back into nature. It's easy and something that you can enjoy doing with your children. I hope you enjoyed our craft time today, our mindfulness craft time today. I just want to also highlight some pointers that when you're working with the craft, invite the thought that these are done not with the goal of being perfect. Okay, so it's not about how perfect they look. It's about using things to give back to nature, to bring out the beauty in the world around us. It's so easy to criticize and to point out different people's what we think are lacks. And so when we're working with children, a lot of times what I hear is, well, mine's is not like hers or his, and his doesn't have enough seeds. You know, they're pointing out the lack, the lack. And so when I work with my transitional awareness breathing children in the class, I point out, and this is how I emphasize acceptance, that it's okay. Theirs and everyone's is very, very special. And the goal of our project is not to make it perfect. What is perfect? So that's a thought. So what we're doing is we're leaving a positive footprint. Who can look at this? You can look at this. Your parents can look at this and see how beautiful and how creative it is. Their creativity is coming out, their artistry is coming out, and that has no bounds, there's no barriers. So the perfection is not in looking at how we can look like somebody else. It's about appreciating what we have come up with in ourselves. So, thank you so much again for joining me today in Transition Awareness Breathing podcast video. I look forward to talking with you again next time, and I hope that you get a lot of birds and creatures appreciating your mindfulness craft today. Talk to you next time. Bye.
Be sure and pick up a copy of Eartha's new book, Tab Mindfulness, Awareness and Coloring Activities in a Pandemic World. It's not just an ordinary coloring book. It features 23 illustrations to stimulate thought, relaxation, and creativity for anyone between the ages of 4 and 94. Increase your positive self-talk energy. Unlock new creative paths. Transform your time once or twice a week to create beautiful art while strengthening confidence, building positive self-talk, and sensitize self-awareness. Tab Mindfulness, Awareness and Coloring Activities in a Pandemic World. It's available now at Amazon.com.